Me.
I need a drink. Right, let's get a drink. Hello, good evening. What? It's a late transmission. It's a late broadcast from the Jeremita Foundation.
Me.
Yeah, I'm good. I got something to say. I forgot to say something. Imagine that. The man that speaketh too much is back. Easy now. Snafu, P900. Zahia. Yes, brother. How we doing? Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Ciao. Arrivederci. Bonjour. Guten Tag. Willkommen. What do I want to say? Council tax. One of my biggest, most. If I'd have put adverts on this video, I'd have got a fair few pennies. I know that much. Council tax. I think it's had 18,000 views. It's quite a strong topic. It's the bane of a lots of families, man's life. So, what could I say about council tax? Because I mentioned in a previous video, that one with Andy just now, that hangout, that I don't necessarily stand by all of my previous videos, and you need to get a update on a hangout or on the .com or on Facebook or direct via, an update and confirm because it's constantly changing and evolving. So I had a thought just a minute ago about the principle and the surety for all debt. So the key, as I see it, the key for the demands made upon your legal person would be that you know that you are the principal and the surety for the debt. So we agreed that council tax is unlawful, and we've argued it this way, the other way, constitutional, Magna Carta, habeas corpus, blah blah blah, and it doesn't work. They don't hear you. The judge, the judiciary, everybody like that. It's just a load of flannel apparently, free man nonsense. So to avoid the free man nonsense of the judiciary, I would suggest that we look at how you would effect and tender payment, tender and effecting payment in aligns with the protocols of the bills of exchange or private avenues as well. So an example would be there are various people on YouTube showing you how to endorse a gyro credit slip. So an example is municipal services, gas, electric, water send out the statement. On the statement bottom half is a printout with the trans gyro credit slip, and on there there's an amount and numbers and so forth and so on, cashier's stamp, all of that, long number on the bottom, do not mark below this line. You turn that over, you can put some verbiage on there with a national insurance number and look at endorsing it with the correct verbiage and the right capacity and so forth. So others have used bills of exchange and looked at promissory notes because there is no backing of the money in the 60s when they took away the gold. We've touched upon that before in previous videos, and the gold insolvency, the fact that everybody's trading in bankruptcy is a major part to play. So how can you pay a debt with a debt? What do we mean by that? Open up your Sky Rocket, get out your wallet and look at the instrumentation there. You'll see a note. It's a banknote from the Bank of what? The Bank of England. That's the Rothschild and Windsor House. So it's not the government, it's a private bank. That's a debt there, a recorded debt. I promise to pay on the bearer the sum of on demand. So how can you pay a debt with a debt? Yeah, well, how can you? Because we're all in debt, but we don't know we're in debt, and we think that that's money and currency and cash. But all that does is pass. What we do every day is pass on that paper record of a debt to somebody else who takes that as a form of payment and offsets it across goods, products, anything, scans it and offsets it, gives you the coinage back. So this is part of the misconception. So then you look at because when we say, oh, you can get a Tesco value, a Asda, Morrison's, whatever, Lidl, Poundland, Pound Saver, whatever, bulk of amount of paper and take out an A4 sheet, and turn that A4 sheet of paper. A4, what is A4? It's a military graded term of paper. Look at your print settings on your printer and look at all the various legal settings there are on that print settings. When the courts communicate in letters and notices and templates, they use New Times Roman font, and it has to be 0.12 high. It has to have so many spaces between the characters and text for it to be uniformed and, the correct. Not that you have to do that, but I'm saying these are the things that we see. So it's very interesting, to say the least. The money, the debt, the fiction, and the instruments that we use, and the misbelief and the conception. They don't tell you about this at school because they can't, because it would break open the system. And if we access this system, then it currently puts a big spanner in the current system of sweat equity, which is what we're doing. We would exhaust our physical energy and expel labour, and we would have an output of that input of labour and energy. The output of that would be a credit note system, generalised and run by the Bank of England's note system that we use, or digitalised credits in a bank account. So that's for your sweat equity. Then you take them digitised credits, or that paper that's been given to you, and you go about your daily business and duties, and you might afford those payments and credits to such said bills and statements, which we think are bills. But if you argue what is a bill and you request a proper bill, then you will never get one. So therefore, what's going on? There are agents operating, and they're operating using certain laws, and we are under the belief of this is credit and money and cash and currency, and no, there isn't. And so the council tax would be best handled as you, the creditor. So look at that. Get somebody, wherever you are, get your council tax bill out now, and the bill, which is just more or less a statement in effect, will have in the top left or the top right, somewhere at the top, the debitor's name, and that debitor will be all capital. So the all capital is the debtor. That's the surname. So the certificate of birth and the birth certificate. The certificate of birth has the surname on, and is the last name. That's part of the name, the family, the clan name. But in this instance, it's the surname. That's put onto the certificate of birth. The birth certificate, months later down the line, at the GRO bondsman interface, is where the fixture of the given or Christian name is put. So with that date there, and you notice there's two dates on the birth certificate, certificate of birth, date of birth, and date of registration. So we proceed even further. You are the principal. That means what? The principal. That's where it is. Principal, boss man. Leader, creator. You are the source of, the principle, and the surety. Remember when we were saying 2 years ago, going into the domain of the magistrates and the district judges and so forth. I am not the surety. I do not agree to be the surety. I don't have an international treaty. I am not that name. I demand to see your bonds and all of this crap. And we didn't realise that it was the person's bond that's open. It's the only trading valuation that they've got. There are no securities since 2008, as we've all found out. So um, yeah, credit, cash, currency flow, council tax. So the all caps name is who it's addressed to. We'll call it Mr. John Doe. So Mr. John Doe, all caps, has got the notification through. It's come through the office opening, namely the letterbox. Now there's a process in place. There is somebody registered in that name that the system is monitoring for cash, currency, credits going across that account in a allotted amount of time. Otherwise, the process starts ticking and rolling, which is why we say you can't ignore. If you're laid up in hospital though and you're incapacitated and you've got mitigating circumstances, or you're away, then the system doesn't address that. It still carries on regardless. If you're having a heart attack or you're suffering from cancer and things, and you're helping sick family, it's a ticking clock. The civil process of which this is driven by is quite aggressive, so it needs dealing with. Some cities you get like 3 weeks and they're on your case, and then it's passed over within 6 weeks to the collection enforcement agents. So the principal and the surety, as we've now found out, would be you, would be the given name, creditor, John, debtor, Smith. So John Smith is creditor and debtor, principal and surety, but that needs handling correctly. So what have they done? They've addressed and noticed the all caps. So that's the clone of the family names, the given name, and the clan name has been all capitalise, and that's who they're dealing with. So we've agreed to be that. We've agreed to, go down and sort that out and whatever before, and make deals and default on them deals and end up further down the line, and perhaps, later on you've lost possessions, or, things have been repossessed, and you've agreed and contracted, and you get in a bad way, and you say that you're sorry and that you're on medication and you're stressed out, and what happens? Nobody really. He still comes around the next day wanting his money, or banging, or threatening, and letters and phone calls and texts, and then there's suicides and things like this. So hence the need for these kind of videos, and for more explanations, exploration, and consideration. Man doesn't need to kill himself over fictitious debts. Never. I've been in that position some years ago, and it's the end. It is the end when you think like that, and you're on medication, and you feel, men especially, feel like they've let down the family. You're not strong enough. You're already been to see the doctor. You might have broke down and cried a bit. People are telling you you're not normal. You're drinking an excessive amount of beer. You don't understand how all this pressure could be on. Two of you are working. You're only just keeping your heads. The water's there all the time. It's taken us a long time to cognise and to understand that this system is not fair. It is not described to you. We are all legally handicapped as soon as we get to the age of 18, and we are interfacing with the legal system. And if you're not privy to this information, then you will never find this out. And a lot of men have fallen, a lot of sisters have fallen, and we owe it, the battles that have been had, and the honour that this country, landmass, bloodline has led to believe that it's had, has been fictitious. So all we can do is just, explore these options and be open and honest about the current systems that we see at hand, and how oppressive and how it needs to be dealt with, what wins and what doesn't win. And yeah, we would say that there's a mass consensus that you need to possibly look at the options of these payment methods, which are also classed as debt, instruments of, and in the capacity of. And as you'll see on other channels and other speakers and other videos, there are ways of enforcing using indemnification and in the correct capacity. One might call it settler. It doesn't have to be in control of an estate, but you can represent in the without a title for one. So it would be, instead of Mr. John Doe, it would be John Doe. Instead of all capitals Mr. John Doe, it would be no Mr. lowercase John, of the clan of Doe. So hello, I'm John. John who? John of the family Doe. What are you here for? I'm here to sort out this council tax issue. Oh, what's your date of birth? I don't have a date of birth, but there is a date of birth for this account, and it's attached to this guy who I'm the agent of. Do you understand what an agent is? No. Okay, can I speak to someone who does? And speak to your legal department. I've got a letter here saying that I'm going to be threatened to be taken to court. I've come down to your place of business. I'd like to speak to Mr. Agent X, heartless, soulless warrior of fictitious finance, and sees no justice. I run like an automated robot. I have no heart or soul. I just want payment. Mr. Agent X then will do, yeah? He's threatened to, bestow all this upon me, this misfortune and custodial. I may be getting threatened here. The force of law. I'm a law-abiding man. I don't know what the force of law is, whatever that is. It sounds a bit scary to me, Oof, I don't really like that. So let's get him down, have a chat, and then ask him to present a bill, a true bill, and you will discharge and settle that, whatever means of method of payment they accept. So then you'd look up your accepting for value, your promissory notes, and you'd look up an endorsement. You'd look up what the International Monetary Fund national insurance number is really for, and you'd start, questioning that. You'd also look at bonds and what bonds are for, registration, birth certificate, certificate of birth, registration date, birth date, a debtor, creditor. That's all true. Not so much contracts, but agents. So the council operate in an agent capacity. A lot of them do, but they're also a private company, corporation. Dun and Bradstreet, Steve McRae, stuff pioneers like that. You've got to thank for all of this. It's not just our channel. So with regards to the threats and intimidation, they're made on your legal person with the date of birth and surname that is apparently a legal occupier of the general public at that address. So, it's quite a hostile environment. This isn't a game. It may be the game of life, and the whole world may be a stage, and you might not be acting your age. And it's not any kind of legal advice, but there's all this confusion about the place. And who's built all this infrastructure? Man has. Who runs it? Man does. Who polices it? Man polices it. So man built it, man runs it, man polices it, man's paid for it. But who tells us what to do? Guys from on high on a castle that make these rules up that don't follow them. Oh, that sounds fair. Yeah, it does. So no, it doesn't, does it at all? And it's like, so you have to agree to disagree. When you are born into a lie, you don't see the lie until you learn the truth. And when you only see half the truth, you won't see all of the lie. So unfortunately for most, you have to learn a great degree of the infrastructure around you, of which is the matrix. And the matrix is the pod of which you are in, of which you think, you are safe and all is well. But then you start to find cracks in your pod starts to leak in bits of fluid and stuff, and before long, the pod's cracked and you're out swimming and you've popped up above and you didn't know there was another world above. You thought you were going to die when your pod cracked, but you learned how to look up and swim. You fought for your life and you popped up and now you're free. And you're like, what's going on here then? What's all this? And there's loads of others and there's no noise and there's no nasty crown chains and that you can move. So I just wanted to put something out there that I'm going to read the comments now and I don't know what to expect here with what 35, that can't be right. 35 viewers. See what I mean with a subject like council tax? It takes an interest. So the principal and the surety, the debtor and the creditor, discharging, offsetting, accepted for value, and promissory notes are all forms of payment, which are not in for the general public, but can be offset and used and utilised for various situations. So what have I done that's effective? I've managed to use the representation at the magistrates court for the traffic claims from the traffic officer. That wasn't my case. That was something that I went down to take an interest in, as was requested to by a brother. All went well, all as we did it and did, with the fiction, with the name, with all that kind of stuff, and the presentation and the management and the joinder and everything, or the not, and the fact that the magistrates deliberated for half an hour and took expert legal advice and then discharged it because there was reasonable doubt, was excellent. The court practice and the civil procedure are what guides you here. The maxims of law, the assumptions and presumptions. So if you're in a system that runs on assumptions and presumptions, do you think that's logical? Do you think that's fair? What are those assumptions and presumptions based upon? Are they based on logical assumptions and presumptions, or are they based on farcical ones? Are these assumptions made recently, or were they made hundreds of years ago? Did it regularly get changed, or did it just stay the same? So, one should never assume, because you make an ass out of you and me. Assume. It's just, 101. So then you've got the maxims of law. He who doesn't know he has any power doesn't have any power in law. They will never tell you. If you have representation, you're viewed as a minor in court, silly little rules. They're not our rules. We should never go there and we should never dance with them. We should always keep them at a distance and remain in honour in an honourless society. This isn't our society. We're in the brotherhood of man that's currently governed by the brotherhood of XYZ and other such things as well. So yeah, it's the key at 21 that's the saviour to all of this, and the CQV and the quasi trust. It's the way that we've been listening to presentations and talks and seminars and recent successes and bits of deadlock that we've had, and other guys in the group that are using these methods and changing their positions and looking at the misconstrued relationships and actually thinking about where they're at and looking at the verbiage that's in front of them and how it's set out. Even like with the iron horse that you may be managing, it says at the top left, the driver vehicle licensing agency. So you have an agency relationship. You might have a Bailey Baylor relationships. You might have a title. You might have legal title. You might have possessory title. You might have a lodial title. So there's a lot of different titles in the mix here. This is to do with your property, genetic blood, bone as well. So that's all I can say to you guys. You are created, right? And so you're born, you are birthed by the waters of your mother in the legal terms and in the canon and ecclesiasticals and in the realm of the spiritual. But in factual reality, the lady carries you around and she borns you. You are, given birth to, but, we call it that you were born, your born day, soul journey day. And you know, this is how it is credited, because then you are here. So then what do? They catalogue you, and you are in a delivery room, so you are a product being delivered. So how can you be a product? Well, because you're going to get registered, and you're going to get a number, a national insurance number, and you get a tag, and you're going to get a chip, which is your bank chip, your chip that you carry for your chip and pin, and you get your number, and you identify, and you get scanned, and your thumbprints, and all of that, and your weight, and your blood. So what's happening there? What has just happened there? That's not any kind of think of a home birth. Think of someone that accidentally, while they're camping, has a baby and goes, oh, and it's all fine, and everybody's, you know, is delivered and whatnot, and you know, they're in the field still. It's nothing like what's just happened in the ward of the state, in the military installation of the hospital. And there's lots of, you know, tornado Max. We need to chat. We really do. Respect for that. What you've done, what you've shared with us, and sent to me. It's your choice. And remember, there is a choice for everything. If somebody tells you or denies you a right, or says you must do, ask them if it's an order. If it's an order, then you get a bill when you give an order out to a fellow man. No man has the right to tell or to instruct and to compel, unless it's an equitable or a common law issue, really. So, you know, if someone denies you something, who are you to deny me that? Why am I being denied that? You know, who is denying who that? Do you know? And if it's a relationship that needs correcting, some of these public statutory, that's a key word there, trusts, they don't need you to know that you're in a trust to be in a trust. So it's a little bit deceptive again. There's not full disclosure there. This is why it's ultimately confusing and a massive shock to us when we have to keep opening. It's like an advent calendar, and you keep opening, and one time there's a chocolate there, and you're like, bonus, that's all right, isn't it? I'll have that. Next time you open it, there's like some kind of pokey stabby um, hot rod that comes out, and you're like, didn't want to look in there. That wasn't too clever, was it? And you have to come back like that again, and it's dangerous. Well, I call it the way. It's dangerous, a bit like that. And you know, just bear with us. You know, do your own discovery and things like that. Your experimentation and sharing of the methods and things that you use and that you have. There we go. Let's put that back. Let me look at your comments. Wow. Good evening, everybody. Snafu, P900, Zaire. Orbstream, good evening. Hi. Hello. And Sister Sandra. Tornado. Yes, brother. Robert, if you are on elect roll, then you agree to pay taxes. Well done, Robert. Yes, of the clan Lun. You're on the electoral roll. You've put your what? Your equitable asset. An equitable asset is on behalf of the man of straw, your legal personality fiction. So you've affixed that equitable asset. That means you've committed joinder. If you haven't put anything around that equitable asset, which is the signature for and on behalf of the legal person, the all caps, and you've got full public liability. If you put all rights reserved, authorised agent on behalf of, and certain other bits of text, then you can sign that and remove the public liability, because you've set your status and your capacity. You could even put set law, but you won't put that on the electoral roll, because that's a document of doom and gloom, to be fair. It's no law that says that needs to be filled in. It's a legal requirement, and a legal requirement is exactly that. A requirement can be declined. No, it can't. A request can be declined. A requirement, you have to argue who or what and who why. It's not well, like it says it is, but it is consent. You are right. Um, Hi, all spirits. Yes, Orb Stream, peace and love. It's a Jewish run system. No, you have to be careful with anti-Semitic comments, but as we know about the Talmud and the Goyim and the infidels and what's been said, then you know, it's just like Christianity. There's many forms of Christianity. They're not all, you know, extreme and so forth, but you get the fars, don't you, lefts, rights. Just stop the presumption. That's right, Stuart. Yeah, presumption. Why would you? That's the Roman civil law system that's at hand now in this Christian country that apparently is very clever and honourable. And this is why we've had all these battles and world wars and the Nazis and, you know, the Spanish Inquisitions and the Armadas and the King of France, and everybody's tried to have a go and have a, you know, even like up at Scotland, what's happened there, the state of Northern Ireland, you know, the IRA, the Ulster army, all the deaths and bombings and misery, not to mention the actual, what is it, the Commonwealth, you know, that thing that isn't all that common, wealth. Well, the Commonwealth is apartheid, South Africa, India. It's absolutely horrendous. And then we just sit back now and just die by 1,000 paper cuts to an invisible force that makes our brothers take crazy pharmaceutical drugs that drive them up the wall, drink too much, want to commit suicide, can't see a way out, don't want to talk to the family, isolate themselves, can't hold a job down, feel that they're not a man enough anymore. So a man's not only forgotten who he is, but he now feels insecure, isolated, inferior, thinks he might be a woman, so he has a sex change. Oh, it's just getting to the point where the actual point of this existence is becoming farcical. We've got all these scriptures and thousands and eons of texts and maths and the technology that we could have is an absolute joke. The fourth industrial revolution that we've talked about, the actual ways that we go about curing stuff, but yet other guys can cure stuff that Western medicine can't, and these are alleged savages in a jungle. So we keep to the council tax, but yeah, I feel what you're saying. Stop the presumptions. Yeah, it's not a good system, and we've traced back where it comes from, and the London Temple BAR and the guys that wear white with the red crosses. Yeah, remember them? The churches. Babylon. You should have asked him where to send you that in writing. Usury, yeah, economics was conceived by the Jews. Usury, don't forget usurping. Yeah, you are usurping. Usufruct, yes, as well. What did the stories of the Bible say? What did, and I'm not Christian, but the stories of the Bible, Jesus kicked out the bankers. What did he say about the solicitors? I only do endorsement for your utilities. There we go. Stuart knows that. He's on the ball with regards to that and the private methods of payment there for offsetting. So you're keeping in honour. Whereas before, when we were saying there was contracts, we were saying that we was keeping in honour. Now it's called having clean hands. So as long as you do it right and you know who you are and you do your research beforehand, there's no reason why you should get into trouble for that, for endorsement and using your persons. It's not yours. It's not your national insurance number. It's a number for you to use for certain situations to get you service. Think of it like that. It's like being in a club. Have you got your club number? Have you got your club card? Yeah, I've got my club card. Have you got your club card and your date of birth? Yeah, I've got that, but it's not mine. When was you born? It's hearsay. Upstream, yes, he went on and said it's legal requirement, law, statute, acts. Yeah, it is for your person. So, once you register that person, it's a game of, ooh, I don't know. Yeah, it's dangerous, isn't it? So you just leave them and tell them you'll be getting onto it. Stop harassing you. Right, at your private property, yeah, what they refer to as your dwelling and stuff. Put a sign up. Put a sign up saying, visitors to be seen strictly by appointment only. Yeah, and then leave. They'll have to write to you then via the snail mail because you won't give them any of the details, and then that's it. Then you put private property, visitors to be seen strictly by appointment. That's a legal and a lawful right you have to defend. There's also the police borderline, and there's also common law jurisdiction applies exclusively. You can also use the notice of the removal of implied rights of access. There you go, there's some armoury for your castle. So these guys, if you've got your castle here and you've got a footpath there, it's really hard. You put all your stuff up, but they're straight there. They're not really trespassing. They are kind of harassing, but they're on a public footpath. But if you've got the luxury of all the garden and the drive and the things and then get them up, put CCTV and so forth and so on, and start defending your rights. Know who you are. Trespass 3 times, criminal trespass. Um, defend. You thought the Jews stole usury economics from the Romans. Yeah, look who was the first guy to make coins, Tornado Max. Julius Caesar, was it? It was the first guy to start coining currency. Between two names is word and, yeah, the Jews was Rome's accountants. Look at Babylon. Go back to Judea and Babylon and before that and see what you can find out about who and what and when. And yeah, all those roads lead to Rome. That is right. That is where that comes from, my brother. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. There's a saying, isn't there? We don't know where or why or who, but now you're saying all roads lead to Rome. Yeah, that's right. It would seem they do at the moment. London, L, E L dash London. You know, what was I talking to an Italian guy the other day about? What did he say? Ah, the bull papil. Ah, the bull papil, David. I went, yes, yes. The chats we have, I was like, you said it so authentically though. I'll never ever hear that again. It's stuck, yeah, it lasered into my thingy. Bull papil. Thank you for that clarification. Sheepston, Tornado Max. What did Sheepston do? Was Rome's accountants? Yes. Are we being deceived? Tommy had claimed to be a Zionist. Amber Rudd, Boris Lowe, the Speaker General, Clegg, Theresa May, all Jews, go figure. Ah, bloodlines. Look at bloodlines. David Icke talks about them, doesn't he? And talks about the reptilian, the queen, the bloodline, the Palestinian, the ancient bloodline, the Iranian bloodlines. Then you've got guys that got rhesus negative, rhesus positive. Then you've got the giants. Wow, yeah, there's a lot. Anunnaki, Nephilim, the Watchers. There's all. Yeah, you got like Jesus's bloodline, and then the Knights Templar, the Crusaders. Everyone's connected in six separations, though, aren't they? Apparently, and then you got the Darwinian theory. There's too much of a mess, to be fair. But you look at a lost thread, and you look at the where where are we going here? We're going to Jesuits, Black Cardinals, Rome, Carthage, um, 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 Phoenicia, Phoenicia getting invaded, Alexander the Great in war and battle, Phoenicia. Phoenicians legged it, went to Venice, Italy, kicked out the Cardinals. They had an issue. Red Cardinals was it? And they black Cardinals, black nobility judges, black. Yeah, they went out. Alexander the Great, Persia, both Italy, Rome, black Cardinals met up with Phoenicians, um, Europe, Jesuits, invaded Europe, got into the monarchy. Hello, here we are today, roughly, loosely. Um, the things at 11:11, wow, things that we to get on with. But yeah, so that's where that bit came from. Sheen, Spen, but feel free to put your bit in. That's just what I've picked up and how I've seen it. Well, that's interesting to know. Yeah, yeah. Why would you need to set up a common law court? What would you need to set up a common law court yourself? You're in the common law court right now. You're in front of the creator, yeah, and you're obliged to follow the rules. Snafu, snafu. So, what would you need to set up a common law court? You're in it. You've got it. Everything's there. A jury, a grand jury, a supreme jury, a judge, things like that. Yeah, that can be discussed and looked at. But we could. You need. There's a lot. There's bits, and it needs to be done correctly. So you could argue quite well, and we could get into a deep argument here. So we'll sidestep that for now to be wise. But that would be a heavyweight hangout. That, to be fair, with the right heads on there, because I don't want to be the one to bring all this up. But you aren't far off that. You would invoke equity. To be fair, you know equity runs parallel with common law now. So you look at the 20 equitable maxims that are read out on the other cast, and you go find out about equity, and then you'd realise about the two tiers of law there in itself. Paul, thanks for sharing this information. It is very appreciated. It's all right, Paul. I don't want nobody killing themselves. We don't know brothers killing themselves. Yeah, we say we'd like a £12 donation of the Bank of England fiat currency perpetual debt printed debt notes, but that's unfortunately, you know, I left a 26.5 grand job to go and preach like this and get on my soapbox and organise the family and get everybody connected as best we can and put the effort in. So this information is valuable. This information has taken a long time to concisely put together in an articulate, random, concise way of which you guys can cognize, go off, reference, note, take, put into practice, come back, meet us and feed back. But this isn't anything that's that shouldn't be kept secret. It's just that it needs to be done in the correct way where there is no liability. I don't accept any. This is not legal advice, and it's open discussion and update. So yeah, I'm surprised at the amount of viewers and what's going off at this time of night. But I have concerns about death and brothers, and we've already publicised through Brother Charles that somebody committed suicide over £1,000 of debt that is not even real. And after everything we've said and exposed, then you imagine how the system, if it's just got blood everywhere. Blood is running and it's continuing to run. So yeah, Paul, you are all right, brother. It's no problem to know something and to keep it in, or to profit from nature, or to profit from remedy like that would be inconceivable. There's no adverts on any of my videos, and I've had like thousands of views now, and I would have made a pretty penny, and I could do with that pretty penny. Who couldn't? But it's about karmic retribution. If you know about the karmic retribution, that's the only payment you will ever need. There will be times where you can't, feed yourself or pay the bill at some point in life, and if you balance the karmic retribution, you will always get paid later on 10 times more than what you would have got if you'd have been shallow and took that whatever it is at the time for that, said deed. So I am 40 now, and I used to DJ and see the material side of life. So for me, for man to stand here and say that when all I've wanted is material things and to climb the ladder of such, um, pathways, it's good. I'm proud of myself, but you have to get there yourself, mate. The government is an autonomous corporation. Carod, I police the police. Yes, I. The government is something that man created also. And government created persons, citizens and employees and acts and statutes and codes and bills, didn't it? And man forgot that he created government, or woe man forgot they created government, and now government dictates over woe man. But woe man can stand there and go, what? You get me, fam? Alias, can somebody tell me what man or woman is making the claim? Yes, I. Claire Marie, character. Yes, I am. Duty of care is to hold key employees to account in private companies. Yep, I like that. Yep, you know what's what. It takes someone with a backbone to do that. Curtis Fistbump. Companies have departments to pass blame. Yeah, they have offices. Well, a good point. They have offices. So in the office of Department of Work and Pensions, the office of health and social care, the health and department of work. And what has departments? Let's think a minute. A shop has departments, doesn't it? Departments, services and things. And it's like, okay, so what department do I want now? Department of what? Establishment, government, private corporation. What department? Oh, you want the engineers department, or sorry, your Iron Horse is currently having the gearbox, reconditioned on it, so it's gone to the gearbox department of the corporation, company, private, established, for profit. I'm humble, brother David Jeremy, and yes, to hang out. That's what we do. Don't be humble, man. We is you, you is I. It's omni, unipresent, micro in the macrocosm. If I need services not physically well, then key fully understand requirements due yet regarding offer good service. Google list of British Chinese politicians. Also look at the Isle of Man, Jersey, tax havens. The Lord is full of Jew barons. You have to be careful here because you will attract attention on your account and you will shut up babbling. Creator. 90% of the Lord Barons are Jews. Okay, we get that. FVP wars are just organised cults. Yeah, but also what happens in wars when the soldiers fall and the birth certificate, estate, CQV, quasi-trust, national insurance number, when all of said hasn't been claimed and those bonds get to mature, what do you think happens to those dead? Hundreds of thousands. In the Second World War, in the first as well, but the second, maybe not the first because it depends when this was in. I can't be so precise or specific, but Second World War and subsequent world wars and all the deaths that have come after that, anybody that's had a birth certificate, that's one thing I can factually say. If soldiers have died and they've had a birth certificate, the states claim them. Think about that a minute. The state says it's got no money. We're facing austerity. Everything's prepaid. You can offset with such and such. You are the creditor and the debtor. They know that. They've got access to it. They move it around. Bonds mature. You don't claim them. You're lost at sea. What? Man's come back from sea. I'm found. Here we go. What we doing? I'm alive. What, is this for real? Come on. You really done this to me. When this gets out, we need this to get out mainstream. It's not funny anymore. It's such a severe, nasty, sick, sociological, horrible experiment that you could not make up. But we have kind of found out that, we're in the matrix, to put it nicely. In the pub, God Lord, you guys, stop it. The City of London, yes, L City, yes, Curtis. What's all aha about Babby for a long time. Yes, 69, you've watched some videos I've watched. I've seen that for us. That's on, let me think, Santos Panacci one, I believe he breaks that down. Have you seen John Harris video? Yeah, I grew up on John Harris, mate. Man's 40 now. I watched John Harris cry on stage and I thought, what? He's a bit weird. You know what I mean? And then when I ended up crying the other month on one, I was like, now I know why John Harris cried, because he saw the truth and he saw the pain, he saw the misery, he saw the future, and he went, ooh, that's, yeah. I don't want to talk about him too much because he had a controversial exit from this reality, shall we say, and we'll leave it there. But we'll just talk about the good things about the people that have passed now, because they have passed. So I don't want to see any negativity, but no bloodline can lay claim to this. FPV Angel, is that about yourself? Yes, that's true. Your bloodlines, but yeah, there are many. How do I decline invitation to High Court? Um, how do I decline invitation? It's not you that's been. You see, here we go. So it's not you that's been invited. So you've got to appear and attend. So in this instance, you would look at the paperwork. You would look at who it's denoting, who the status and the identity is. Identity. The identity is an all caps name, date of birth, surname. If you identify with that, you've committed joinder and you accept it. If you don't identify with that and you the Attorney General is somebody that you inform of your status and capacity about the disclosure in the birth certificate. I'm telling you quite a bit there. It's not that I'm an expert or master, but I am privy to hearing the same thing time and time again over a prolonged amount of time. Man starts to pick up little bits of tricks. So the Attorney General is the guy that you'd need to inform of your status and capacity and what's going off. You need to do a bit of research on that if you don't know who the Attorney General is. They would help you, not help you, but be the ones that you would interface with on the state level to get them to notice the courts about certain things. And if you're going to turn up in the capacity of executor, set law, authorised agent and representative of said state name to clear up the controversy of that state name, then you would need to do things like that. But you don't really. You're talking of a high court, so you know what high court power has. So I'm not going to get into this because it's dangerous and it's high court, but they do have a bit more inherent, we'll call it, powers than what the Magis do and so forth. De facto lower ones. 25 English folk for a start. That's how do you start a common law court answer then. There we go, Bro Roberts. Church of Britain. Interesting. Brother Robert, Church of Britain. I like what you've tried to do there. But religion is a control mechanism, Brother Robert. I know. That's why we go spiritual. Jesus, Jones, need more information. You said an invitation. You can decline an invitation. Yeah, you can, but at your peril, Beryl. If you decline and you don't notice the court properly, or the court don't recognise your notice or paperwork, and they go ahead, and you don't go and face the accuser and sort it out and get remedy or discharge the charges and so forth and so on in the correct, honourable way, then the system will then again hand out the afforded what we're doing here, fines, forfeitures and fees, and that will be against the legal person. And then guess what, against coming to your private property is a torrent of shitstorms of big Barrys and big Steves. So yeah, you're right on that front. No contract, no consent, certain things. Get back to the court. You'll have to serve them and do that, but they'd ignore that. So the ultimate end goal here is to get closure, not deadlock, and not attend. But you should have sorted it out before you're required to attend. But it's all your choices there. It is an invitation, yeah. But then again, if you've been charged with a common law infraction, then that would be a mandatory thing that you'd need to sort out, and you need to redress and get remedy for the harm, injury, and so forth. Is it if it's Big Free Tommy 1-to-1 with David might help you? If it's Big Free Tommy, what's that all about? There is alien technology in Iraq, from what I have heard. You ain't, yeah, Jesus. And now, do you think we bombed it in '91? Why do you think Stormy Norman could have got him? And says, he's here, look, Stormy Norman, 1991. Man remembers too much. And the orders were given not to get him. I forget by the President of America at the time. I'm going to say Bush or Reagan. We continued on, and then we went back in 2000 and something else, and they bombed everywhere again. So yeah, the cradle of life is actually what happened around there, Jonesy. Well noted and said. Was John killed? You'll have to look out. That tells me you're quite young then. Um, Tommy England, FPV. There is no aliens, but there was a lot of technology. FPV. Do you want to have a hangout sometime or join on in a chat or whatever? Email me at ukfreedomproject@gmail.com. I did like your video, your presentation, the way you sounded. We do like Northerners and Yorkshiremen, local yokels and so forth that say what they like and like what they say in an intelligent, nice, friendly, warm, open, non-hostile. I liked how you said something and you said, I'm not right sure about this bit, but well, what I do know is this. And when we find out that, that'll probably click in with that. And I'm like, yes. He doesn't even claim to know it all. He's quite humble with your production, your presentation, your knowledge, that was really, I just want to say well done, brother. I am such an amateur, but the message is all that needs to get out. So those with ears can be sorted by my presentation, but I need to brush up. Common law courts are needed in every parish ward. 25 folk can come along and court. Great chat, bro. Thanks for doing this. You all right, brother? Yeah, in a way, but then right, common law court jurisdiction. We need to look at jurisdictions and authority, take away the persons and everything else. Now, me and you need to sort out something, and we don't really, but in a hypothetical way, we need to sort something out, and it involves a £5 million house, a £200,000 pound car. We'll say there's three of them: a Jaguar, a Ferrari, whatever else, an Aston Martin, a big house, rent, damage, and so forth and so on. So we go to a common law court and sort all that out. But then I might say that I, the man, have been personally damaged by you, because when I first mentioned this to you, you was drunk at the time and you didn't know what you was doing, and we actually had a fight, and you got a knife or you broken bottle or something. You hit me with a bottle and I lost my ear. And we're friends now again and everything. It's not too bad, but I've still lost my ear. In the common law court, I need to take you, the man, get you sorted out. Yeah, I suppose I could do that in the common law court. That's all fine. Now we'll talk about something else, where I've gone on holiday and I've left my mansion and all the cars out, and I didn't put my alarm on or anything, and I've come back home and I found that there's loads of sovereigns in my house. And I'm like, what are you guys doing here? Come on, get out. And you say, no, it's not like that, Dave. You've been gone 6 months. We've been here 4. We've put that there. We've done this. We've brought our own generators in. Your electric's been turned off, so we've got this. We've put solar panels on. We've got some organic garden going over there. We're all, we're not going anywhere. We like it here. And then I go and ring the police and say, hey, come on, blah, blah, blah. And we've got to get these guys out. You'd argue that that would be a common law burglary or a common law invasion or trespass or something, or you'd think that. But then these guys can put like a notice of equitable interest in, and because they have possession is 9/10 of the law. Now that's the key part. They haven't bonded me as such like the state bonds us, brother. But what they've done, they've been cunning, and they've got the equitable, and the maxims of equity are the first one to mention it. So the first, I've just read it out like 2 hours ago. The first in line is the first in time is the first in line for it to be called the equitable remedies and principles. So the squatters would, or the sovereigns, aka squatters, would call that. So then, would a common law? This is hard. Would a common law have the appointed jurisdiction and authority to deal with such an issue? I think you might need it. You see, some issues are more complicated and would need it, but I'm willing to talk about this, and I'm not saying no. All I'm saying is we're at a place in time in history where this is like truly incredible. None of us have got law degrees. None of us have been to university. There's 39 of you now. It's 11:30. Amazing. Carrying on. So, brother, whoever that was, I hope that, Robert Church. The vegan runner. Hello to new subscriber and viewer. It will never go mainstream. True. But I have got a contact with a Sky channel that's they didn't contact me back after they attended a seminar. Yeah, that says a lot, doesn't it? But they were from a channel what were they called? Some Viceland channel. Alex Hone, or Home Come to See Me from Viceland channel 187 on Sky. Viceland Productions Media, and I wanted to do something with them, but they disappeared. But we'll get there. We'll sort something out. Right. Who else has dropped in? Mentioned John. He blew my head off, and you did the same. You, John, Tommy, are kings. Oh, bless you, Tommy. Tommy, who though? We're all kings. We're all as kings. You are king. You are as king. You are as king. The questions. You are 42. Calm down. What's going on? Am I missing something here or what? It is actually Tuesday. Yes, it's right. It's not. Thank you. Nice one. But you are as king. So this is what I mean. Council tax. That's why I'm getting the viewers, because I've put council tax and it affects a lot of you. So if you just dropped in, you need to go back to the beginning, I'm afraid, and just have a quick C.R. Graham for a quick reminder. Like it's important and it's serious, and there's suicides going off, there's drug addictions, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going off. So thank you for thanking me. Without you viewing, I wouldn't be here doing it. If I ever only got one viewer and no likes and no comments and shares and stuff, then I wouldn't carry on. But if you can save a life or two, that's amazing. You know, the gratitude that the creator is going to give you for that, you know, for doing, putting yourself out, a bit of sacrificing, sharing the knowledge that helps me in my times, that Andy knows, that the group, that the trust know. As long as I don't mention too much personal data, what we know in the trust can be brought to this domain. Just trying to prove our intent and our honourability, and we have a duty as well. So to you, for that, thank you. And saying that we're kings, we are all kings, and man has forgotten. It's a shame, it's a sin. In fact, it is a sin that man has forgotten who he is, what his rights are, how to compel, and the grand scheme of things. To be fair, it's ridiculous. It's nothing to do with me. I'm just a beneficiary. You need to look at that. Yes, evening or midnight. Easy, Mr. MG. Look at you. It's just like a little family. This family unity and that, and the way, that's what I mean, that you chat and that you're respectful. You say, I'm seeing these demographics, like, of sexes and ages and everything like that. And even now it's going to cross continents. So it's different time zones, different continents, different ages, different sexes, different intelligences, different IQs, different experiences, different laws. And what we're mixing here is like, it's a magical thing. I know my channel's not the most tidiest of channels, and it's truly eclectic, but what we're on the cusp of here is something magical. It's the marking in history, to be fair, of going mainstream with a lot of, not mainstream, but going grandioso, going large, as they call it, fattening up the pack. You guys are looking for answers. You're not thick. You're sick of getting led down dead ends. You keep banging your heads against each other walls like rams. You get guys on Facebook coming out with remedies every week, and guys coming out with remedies that are this deep, and guys coming out of remedies that need 65 courses at $5.99 a course for you to take. And we're trying to meet everybody in the middle, please everybody, remedy everybody with regards to that. And half of that, as Romley Stewart, the brother, love to that man, and the Justinian Deception channel on YouTube, is that your remedy to half of the issues in life is knowing who you are and what you are, your status and your capacity. So to the extra viewers that we've got here and the subscribers, I say thank you for tuning in. And next time you want council tax issues and payment and municipal and bills and stuff, you need to think like that and do the research. You can make a free account on splspro.com and get on there for 24 hours and download PDF documents. I've even done that for you just to give back, because it's a constant circle, and if you don't fulfill that circle, then you create a block, then it's where it all starts decaying and the journey's over. So I'm enjoying this journey. It has been quite a nice one, to be fair, since November 2015. There's been some tears, there's been some good emotions, bad emotions, negativity, but the successes and the thanks from you outweigh all of that negativity. Did you just make a blind date reference? I thought that was the only sad git here. That's right, Jesus. Graham with a quick reminder. It's cognitive dissonance. It's all that stuff, it's nasty, You've got to embrace it and use it for positiveness, and just not deny it and not know it's there, and just start reference it so you can, who can you think of the A-Team, right? The A-Team, music's in your head already, look, without even trying. Dun, 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 dun. Knight Rider, Street Hawk, Hawaii 5-0. Let me think of something else. The Sweeney. You know, all of these shows and that, they're all straight in there. The words to them will come in now. You haven't thought of them for years, look. We're there, locked in. Where, you know, programming. Why didn't we do that with good stuff instead of shizen that, you know? All the videos you watched in the 80s, you know what I mean? Your favourite bands, all the words to them names, all the names and the words to them songs, and me with records and remixes and DJs and lengths and, you know, things that you remember about music and what the genre is and the beats per minute and what kind of note it has and if it's got singing and what kind of note that has and if it's going to clash with the next one, how long that is, where its mixability is, what speed it is. And before long, you might have 2,500 vinyls, which I did, and I knew, well, say 2,300 of them off by heart. The white labels were confusing because there was nothing on them. You know, it was a bit weird, that bit, but the other ones with the labels on. And then I thought, there's a use here, clever, but I'm not clever. I was told I was a thick shit at school, but then you've got your own appliances in your own life which aren't academic that you find you have a use for. You utilise and build on that when the system says, you know, you're no good, kind of thing. So this is where the laws come in and the researching about that. So squatters' rights, I've explained that, Jonesy, then. These common law birth certificates are apparently being recognised and accepted by the judges and courts. What are your views on this, please? I need to study that, but the common law court birth certificate will need to be. I need to know what the process is and what's being done. So is it the? I've spoken to somebody on a hangout, and they want to learn about private trusts as well. So for certain things and functionalities, I think that you know, common law courts are good. As for using it to copyright or you know, put into, I can't see a public trust protecting a public document, a birth certificate, because it's a public trust. I can see certain maybe like ways of which you could utilise that, but you would want to go, you know, in the full claiming of title. And if you're trying to protect yourself, then don't claim full public title and look at the way the law works. And the law works in many ways. So you may have found an effective way there of which I'm not aware of. I'd like somebody to tell me exactly, or to have a live hangout that's connected with this, and let's discuss it. I'm open with everything. I don't know why others aren't so forthcoming or want to summarise, if not, you know, send a representative or, you know, somebody from, so we could analyse and discuss and get this out there. There's only one reason that folk don't want to come out and talk stuff in the public normally, because there's something that they may not want to bring public then. The whole logic would dictate that, and logic alone. So I would like to explore that, but my personal opinion, and a lot of the guys that I know, but I'll speak for myself, would say that equity runs parallel to common law. Go and look at the 20 equitable maxims. When you read them and you cognise them, look at a few sites when you go for the 20 equitable maxims, you'll find they're written slightly different and they have different additional notes to them. So look at about 5 sites, all different, about the 20 equitable maxims. Then go and look at the maxims of law. That's common law. The common law is your common law harm, injury, loss and fraudulent dealings, and it's also all of the 200 and something thousand mandatory public statutory codes and acts and bills and all of that. Um, so yeah, you know then how the law will work and you will be able to answer that for yourself. But my personal opinion is based on my research and my understanding of the United Kingdom's law, and then man's law, which is the trust and equity, and then the canons and ecclesiasticals on top of that. So it's like a tier system of the laws. And the common law is down here with the public statutory. Then you've got equity and trust, and then you've got canons and ecclesiastical. So High Court, Privy Court, and past that one, then with the laws, you've got the European, haven't you? The High Courts of Appeal, the Royal Courts of Justice, the King and Queen's Bench, yeah, these kind of jurisdictions. So would you ever get the Queen at a common law court, or would you ever get like comparable to King and Queen's Bench? Um, the what's that one now then, the Hague and War Criminal Court in Europe, you know, these look at all of the and then think about common law again. And you see, so if common law was that great, why wouldn't they use that common law same principle in Europe at the higher courts and things, which is common law murder? Yeah, you're right, you get tried for that, you see. So the common law is pulled in with the murder charge, which would be common law murder, manslaughter. Manslaughter Act is a corporate manslaughter public law again, you see. So these are all public laws, which is fine for that. Common law harm, injury and loss side of it, no problem. Bish, bash, bosh. Common law court all day long, son. Not a problem. Now we've got a private issue, right? Me and you need to sort a private issue out, brother. And we're in a public court. What are we going to do? I can't bring out this instrumentation and I can't expose my private trust in a public courthouse. It's a common law courthouse, yeah. We've got a private trust, and I've got to be careful with this now. And there's all these, we'll call them commoners behind me. How do we deal with this? I'm a right to be here. You've a right to be here. They've a right to be here. My documentation's private. I'm about to pull some tricks out of the bag here that these lot, it's going to pop their head like a, mashed bloody Swede. So then, and plus some of it will invalidate this because it's the ethics now and the principles of it all. My principles and ethics are honourable, as yours is, as the court's is, but private and public don't mix. Now, are you going to be able to do that? Are you going to have to ask them to all get out? That's not right, is it? So what do we do? How do we be fair to all and be fair to me and keep I have the right to privacy under law, and I'd like to invoke that. I'd like to invoke, these other such things. So now you see, it's not a criticism at common law. It's about the rulings and the codings and the principles of life, and situations aren't always applicable universally to man. And so man needs time to yeah, sort out stuff in the private, yeah. Squatters' rights, yeah, we've got that. I need to go. Nice one, David. Well said. These are hard times, but our intent is honest and righteous. Yeah, it is. Thank you, Curtis. You are not entitled to any state help with this. Am I right? I don't know what that means, Jonesy. I've babbled. We need to stop feeding the beast by peaceful non-compliance. Another new subscriber, pure peace power. Respect to you. We'll give you a virtual fist bump for that. I've come in at a good bit then. G-star, easy then. Jesus, I have it now in my head. Yeah, that's right, you see. Oh, it's just instant, isn't it? It didn't take you long, did it? There's your programming for you. I've got it, you've got it. Let's program ourselves with something good, where we can just go boom, 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 boom. They could have done that, but they chose not to. Do you remember your algebra, your long division, your German, all these other, your religious education, electronics, French, Airwolf, come on then, Columba, oh wow, here we go, we've started it now. Don't forget Airwolf. Yeah, I was a big fan of the show called, I'm going to have to get it out of the box for you, Starfleet, Big Die X, Bomber X. It was like a puppet show that was Japanese, dubbed in English. It was around about the time of Monkey Magic, Monkey Magic. Yep, you know the ones, the water margin. Has anyone said that? I bet you haven't. That's my unique references. Also, there was two fat men, pink as out, big fat lads. Shirley Crabtree. Who was that? Who was Shirley Crabtree? Two big fat lads on a Saturday TV. I'll nearly give the, yeah, I think if you forget that, Shirley Crabtree, there was a stage name that he had, Saturday TV, before the water margin. Pob, do you remember Pob? That was also good. Just on before Little House on the Prairie. Squatters' rights, only allowed to squat commercial properties. Now, what, really? I don't actually know that. That could be true, I don't know. I love the white labels. Yeah, but when you're off your face and you was like, what, who's going on here then? And you get have you got Alison Limerick, Where Love Lives, or Massive Attack, Unfinished Sympathy? That was always on a white label. Voodoo Ray, that was on a white label. Sasha, loads of them white labels. And I'd like, yeah, I've got that. I'd be a bit drunk and that, get it on. And it's like looking at it. Sticker is it, thumbprints on it, little stars, gold labels. Oh, that one's got a bit of paint missing. That's the one. I know that mix. And you put it on, it's the wrong one. Oh. You don't get out with an MP3, do you? No. You don't get the crackle though either. I loved it. Yeah, all right then, Jonesy. Let's see. He has set up People's Court. Yeah, I'd like to speak to this man. It'd be excellent. Then he is buying title for the animal fee, nominal fee, not animal. Yeah, nominal. I knew. What are your views of Stephen Cray? He is bashing on about the Maxims. You mean Stephen McRae? Yeah, he's alright. He's a brother. I like him. He's a deep guy. He knows a lot about which maxims of canons, maxims, Roman maxims, maxims of law, equitable maxims. There's a lot of maxims there, the governing rules of the law system, of how the parameters of what it actually runs upon. The operating system has rules. Yeah, so you have an operating system, don't you? You have rules and how it should go and parameters in that, and those are the governing guidelines. So if you suffer a wrong and you say blah 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 X Y and Z, then you'll get turned round by that maxim. If you don't know about that, then the maxims, then you will never use that and you will never win your argument. So if you are dubious about some of his views, then yeah, that's fine. People are dubious about mine. I'm dubious about a lot of others. So that's fine. That's just your defensive mechanism and your intelligence, thinking and cognizing. So what we got is Zaya. Steve McRae knows his stuff. I've never heard him say common law doesn't exist. Yes, Zaya. He was at Zaya. Brother was at Liverpool with me, Andy, and Steve. So yeah, we did. He can say that. Yeah, I'm interested in joining or donating to your site. Thank you, Studs. It's to the family. It's to the brotherhood of man. It's for your bloodlines that are going to be born later down the line. You know, our lineage. They will look back and say, for God's sake, why didn't anybody stop this when they're being born with a chip, RFID, probably, you know what I mean, getting a bit of genetic modification, all these kind of funky injections getting put over there in a cage, you know, muzzle on, no room and stuff like that, getting to a certain size, getting released, right, off you go, get in there, straight out the cage into a job, what do you mean, stay there, clipped on, what, it's clipped on by the spine, feeds you as well, so you don't need to move anywhere, you're walking on the spot, getting your exercise. I'm like, what? It's some kind of crazy dream I had once. Yeah, so if we don't do something now, I think that the future's going to be not orange, but black. But thank you. So yeah, we like to community spirit as well. We want forums and groups and video learning centres, you know, product downloads. Go on and make a free account and have a look. See us in the welcome forum and event in a private field in Oxford coming on the 14th and 15th of July, no less. Been following you for up a year, Studs. All right, nice one. Troops, yes, Chilster. P900s. It's been a mad journey for the last 12 years, starting with Robert Menard, Mark Ceylon, John Harris, Romley Stewart, and Rohan Lorien, Indigo Child, Indiglo. Aha, you noticed the change. Steve McRae. It's a crazy journey. 69, you have been. And yeah, look at Winston Shrout as well. He's got some good little bits in there. And yeah, Romley Stewart's recent 6 months ago, those hierarchy, name, the perfect deception, the perfect crime, is it deception, ledger, yeah, bang on, absolutely bang on. What about offering the estate with the stamps? You'll have to ask him about that. I haven't got all that knowledge there. I know about management of the estate. If you want to control the estate, then that's up down with the canons and at the house of the god. Because in 1303, Pope Boniface declared unum sanctum. And when you are thinking of this, watch Romley Stewart and watch the one where he's showing you the triangle relationship, and he says that you've got the Vatican and the government, and then you've got the debtor and the situation there. See, it's not just Steve, yeah, it's everybody now who's saying this now, what happens. So as for claiming and anchoring it and controlling the estate, ecclesiastical deed poll, evidence of life, notice, understanding, claim of right, such things as, you know, news at den, yes, FPV. I wonder what kind of law or court King Charles was tried under before we chopped his traitor class head off. Does anyone know? Cheers. Don't forget street. Oh, Ecky Thump. Well, yes, don't forget Veronica Chapman. Oh dear, you make me cry, guys. What's going on? Shirley Crabtree was Big Daddy the Wrestler P900. Get it! Giant Haystacks and Shirley Crabtree. Yeah, I always thought, why is that man? Why is that big wrestler man got a woman's name? You'd never say it to his face though, would you? Not as an 8-year-old child. He'd be like, what? Hey up, pal. You've got a girl's name. Like it. But yeah, memories, eh? What else? Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock. Jason and the Wheeled Monster Mines. Pole position. Well done to you though, P900. That's good. That Roland Rat Superstar. Yeah. Wow. Easy Sandra. We're nuts, aren't we? Stop it. I'm trying to forget my past. I know, goddamn Walt Disney for giving us unrealistic life expectations. Hey, Jonesy, if I one for one need to go back to that corporation, say these videos and crap that you filled us up with when we were kids, got outside, I was legally handicapped, didn't know anything about public liability, started paying with things from a sweat equity, found out that Princess didn't exist. I did find a slipper in the curb once and passed out and fell asleep and woke up on a summer's day and it was stuck to my face. I never thought about going to find out who the lady was that owned that. And there's more, but we'll move on. Mr. Disney, you know, I like that, Jonesy. Orbital Belfast, great tune, David, remember. I do, yeah. Orbital Chimes is a better one as well. I'm going to play that one. I've got that on vinyl somewhere, actually. Orbital Chimes and Belfast. Yeah, what a tune. Trance Heads. We've started something here. Great price, 5,000. Moving on. Do business rates fall under the same scam as council tax? Possibly, yes, Marina A. Whack-a-day, Greg Gibbons, whack-a-day, killed it off with that monster. If you don't know the next question, you might get a bash on the head like this, and if you do know the question, then you'll be all right. You won't get a bash on the head like this. Come on then, let's go. Magic's magic. Timmy Mallet. Magic's magic. Wow. It's whack-a-day, no school today. Can't remember the words. Yep. Wow. This is excellent. Look at that. This is by the best form I have seen you in. You are on a roll, brother. 37 viewers at 10 to 12 on a Tuesday, week of Tuesday, G-Star night, eh? It's just, yeah, I needed to talk about council tax and these kind of things and death and suicide and misery. And if it happens to be the best form I've been on, then that's a great way to present such a somber, serious subject and to explain it in a way that others that might be considering suicide or thinking about it, or you could show them this video and go, oh, listen to me, mate Dave, a minute, what you're thinking about and how you're worrying in 1 hour, 10 minutes, you'll be all right. You might even have a laugh at him and with him. Timmy, what's Timmy going to Timmy, man? Oh, Timmy, we are in a trance, but no more. Yeah, Grace, Perfecto, Paul Oakenfold, State of Grace, Clangers. Stop it now, you're going too back far, 69. Stop. Oh, for the love of cookies. Chilster Deluxe, we are awoke, was not in slumber. I was following you before you started about the trust. I have so much to learn. Find it slightly confusing, hence I am interested in joining. Yeah, we're an online digital university. We'll provide documents, references, videos, eventually learning courses once we get the finger pulled out and stop making random videos and going on, get some structure and direction. Yes, G-Star was having a night off. We can't build websites at early hours in the morning because we tend to make mistakes. I'm trying to get sleeping up early in the morning, but there's a big mission at hand here. You've all got a part to play. You are playing your part. We are, in a sense, a bloodline family, despite what colour, skin, language, food we eat, everything like that. The fact that there's little children, starving on this planet, and we walk down a supermarket wall to wall of just fat and sugar and protein and all of the glorified forms of it. And then I just think this is wrong. I don't want to be walking down, even in a little, it's just a basic supermarket. And you're just like, I know there's people starving around the world. I'm looking at all this food and it's just sat here. And we've got the ways and means of putting it on a plane and shipping it to them, but we don't. And there's a reason why we don't, because of the money. And it's like, and money isn't bad, I know that. It's the way that it's used. But because they haven't got any, they can't have any food. Well, I don't think that system's fair. Not when the Creator gave us this planet, and for some reason, some people on this planet can't eat. So that'll be us soon. And while we sit back and look at the guys that can't eat and can't get educated for free or anything like that, can't even get a decent drink of water, it's a crime as far as we're concerned. Never mind the flat earth and the round earth. Kids that can't eat is a crime. Kids that get taken away from the families because of crap legal shit is a crime. Man killing himself over £1,000 is a crime. If this is the way, the homeless man that died outside on the streets of Parliament is a crime. Now, Grenfell is a crime. How many more times do we watch all these crimes? These aren't legal infractions or offences or criminal offences. Everybody in the ministerial government currently under Theresa May, um, and to Queen Elizabeth herself, who's the current ruling monarch. You know, they're aware of the state and they're aware of the controversy, and it's up to us, the peasantry, to sort it out. As we've seen with the barons, they're not coming to help us. As we've seen with the public trusts that have been set up that have collapsed, they don't enforce anything. That's why you don't get any redress with the lawful rebellion, practical lawful dissent, or anything like that. As I read out on the other video with Andy and Fam, Indigo, Andy and Fam. So there are crimes, and the creator knows that we're watching these crimes, and it, consciousness knows that we are guilty if we watch it and let it happen. So I'll tell you everything because I can't fix the world, but I can get you guys armed up to the back teeth with everything you need to stand there, brother to brother, shoulder to shoulder, turban, Muslim, Indian, Russian, Latvian, Estonian, Poland, Bosnian, you know, Armenian, Albanian, Greece, Italian, just stood there, whole family, going, what are you doing? Well, you know, we've heard. That's what, you know, that's what it's about. So it's disturbing. I do get emotional. You guys do care. Some of us are old ravers. Look at the demographic that wants to help. What did we grow up on? What have we been programmed with? Star Wars. What happens in Star Wars? Use the Force, young Jedi. Darkness coming. Yes. That's just one, but one of the main ones for me. Programmed with hero stories, space stories, you know, space films. Look at all of Hollywood, the programming. We've seen the systems, the Matrix, you know, Tron, all of the scriptures and passages and the science fiction and the aliens and everything that's been forbidden, that's been brought to you and put on TV, that's just absolutely insane, to do with the mankind's doing stuff as well, and just the weird things that are happening. You know, there's more to life than what we are here to do, which is wake up, work, poo, eat, sleep. You know, wake up, work, poo, eat, sleep. At the end of the money, there's too much month left. So this is the time where we have to reflect and think that it's only going to get worse. And we have a duty and an obligation, and I'm aware of that. Our family's aware of that, and that's what we are doing here, you know, with guys that are like-minded, that are kind of old school, floaty, like between 30 and 45 crusty ravers. We are opened our mind. We are of a different generation. And perhaps it's the injections they gave us. Perhaps we are being stimulated from afar that we don't know about. Perhaps we are receiving messages and downloaded from on high. Perhaps it's the fact that we all might have at some point smoked some cannabis or taken something we shouldn't have in our life, and it unlocked something. But for me, I was a child, and well, I was a child. When I was a child, I was a little hyperactive, disobedient, non-respective of authority boy. And as I've grown up, authority has presented itself, and it hasn't been too clever with me, and I haven't found it very fair. And in the 80s, with regards to domestic violence and what happened with drunk men and my mum, and that's where we'll leave it. The police didn't really do anything. So my mum had a vocation for that and miscarriages of justice, and I didn't. I didn't have anything. And then when I was 30, and so for, no, 20,000 and 2005, oh, what's that, 13 years ago, 40, 30, 27, I went to court to get access to my property, and that's when I didn't know about law. So it was 10 years, about 10 years afterwards I found out about law. It was a 2-year court case, takes me to 29, high court, barristers, bullshit, lots of money, court rate. So yeah, it's after that, so 11 years of this. My children have gone. The state have took my children away from me through legal avenues. They have suffered me, them, parental alienation, harm, injury, loss, separation. For what? For a legal system. Man's been to court, family. Went to court and argued for my allodial title, but I did it as the mister in the public capital with a barrister. Idiot. 20 grand in 2 years. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's it. Gone, done, fool. Should have known better. But that's not a nice system. So they owe me. So this is why we're here as well. let's go. We got to finish this and we've got to go. I'm tired. Chilster, we are. Yeah, I've got that. I love these random video film. That's what it's about. Speaking from the mind, spontaneously, from the heart, just goes, no script. And connecting. You guys got to see it, and you guys inspired, follow, look at it, research it, make notes, rewind it. Ever been to the Whirly gig in London back in the days? No, I haven't. No Whirly gig, definitely not. What about global time zone revolution? Every time zone, yes, every time some downs tools for one day within 24 hours, the system should fail. I like that, studs. One day, I know what you mean. We're all fighting and winning. Happy days, knowledge to the people. I'm an old raver. I know, there's so many of us. This is why we're having a festival in the field in Oxford. See the events page on splspro.com. It is on like Kong. Mark 5, vinyls, acetates, white labels, test presses, MP3s, real singing, real music, dancing, fires, all kinds of nice food. It's happening and it's on. I cannot remember 1992. I didn't leave school till 94, fella. I was living in Rugby. Um, Milton Keynes, Sanctuary. Let's go through raves now then, like we did TV. Sanctuary, Milton Keynes, Helter Skelter, Dreamscape, Fantasia. There was something Castle Donington, the Q Club, Birmingham. Red Zone, Eclipse, Coventry, Palais, Sheffield, London Road, Music Factory, even later on in Sheffield. Well, we're going all over here, aren't we? What else was there that I liked that was good? Hot to Trot, Lisa Lashes, that was later on. Rave, Acid, 91, Sanctuary, Milton Keynes. That one that comes out, Q Club. Dreamscapes and Fantasias were all over the shank. Rugby, Coventry, Leicester, Nuneaton, Milton Keynes. Just went travelling about there. It was truly excellent. As Elizabeth got to be one of the worst. Yeah, well, it's a fiction though, isn't it? That's Queen and the Thingy are a fiction. Yes, Ebenezer Good, Shaman. Come on, who wasn't tripping out? LSD was massive in the night. Chelsea. Magic Mushroom, massive. 24 1 hour revolution. That doesn't make sense. 24 hour, not 24 1 hour. It's either 1 hour or it's 24s. Even my tiny eyes can see that. Trick me. Ravers, yeah, mate. Get on one, matey. DJ Swanee. What a DJs. What a DJs. Leave your ego at the door. 90s. We're raving and stopped the 80s. Hooliganism. He saved us and got us all loved up. I used to do big squat parties in central London. Oh, this is what I mean. DJs, MCs, vocalists, lyrical assassins. If you could find somebody, right, this is my... Oh, wow, can I say this without getting... Can I actually say this? Yes, I can say it. I really want to find a lyrical MC that's got some kind of... like I have, which is spectrum not quite right on the autistic scale. Find someone that's a bit like very good at memorizing, so but they're also good at someone who can rhyme an MC and spit bars, as the youth them say, and lay some lyrical Illuminati lawful beats pon this. And I just sit there with the rhythm track going, come on, and I give them the content. You can do what you put. This is what you're going to do. Here's the CQ, here's the CQV of 1666, followed by, oh my, I've got some right ideas. And then what we're going to do is find a tempo and a pitch for that. Then maybe we'll go to some Beanie Man, Zim Zimmer, something non-generic, and then we get the oh, I'm telling you now, it's going to be all kinds of. So that's the other stuff we'd like to do, because we remix and mash up and we live sample and we feedback and we do dub and reggae and loops and everything, with the technology. Get some brains on it as well, and some assassins of lyrical, and fantasy. Baby D, I think he's on about there. Sadly, there was always someone who overdosed on me. Leah Betts, it was. Jesus Jones, 1991. Leah Betts overdose, I think. What? Why? I don't know. But just try that out. I think you'll find them right. 1 hour in every time zone. Got you. Oh, TikTok. It's like a Mexican wave of non-peaceful civil disobedience, non-compliance. What about if we did it all at the same time? We need to talk more. Heavyweight hangout, chat, subject. Let's do this. Let's get it global chatting. Sounds like it will be a wicked time. Would love to come in DJ Strictly Vinyl Suite. Yes, you're in, Curtis. Go. You're in. It's done. It's a done deal, my brother. Our brother. Put the bass in your big DJ Slipmat. What was he always saying? No, no, it was Sheffield DJ. What was he called? DJ Dream. Just filling in the gaps. Watch your bass pins. I'm telling you. Used to put cigarette butts in the back parcel shelf of a Manta, Sea-Reg Manta 1.8i, massive 12-inch bass pin that bowed the parcel shelf, and that was even strengthened. And we'd sit there sometimes when we'd gone out to the fields and find a few shrums and chill out, and put filter tips on the speaker and watch them bounce around like that and leave trail rushes. Innocent times. No shanking, no lurking on the streets, talking about stars and, druid ruins in Stanton on the Peak, picking mushrooms and hiding away. Yes, Fantasia. Fantasia! Hype! Yes, I. What was that tune? Edge One. And Bad Boy. Come again. Bad Boy. Come again. Just for you, London, London, London. Just for you. Astoria. Oh, yeah, there's one. Sounds proper. Indie Man. Brixton Academy. You got it. Yep. New Korg Electribe is superb production station, David. What? 69 just comes out. I didn't even know you was into the things of such that might be. It's on like Korg. All right. I am digital, aren't I? So I like just to use the vinyls and interfaces, MIDI samplers, loops, effects, transpose, latency type things, sound effects, and I'd have the vinyls. It's unfortunate you can't put them through the Pioneer as far as I know and sample the vinyl in, get it into the Serato software. I'm aware of Tractor and what that does, but that's again manipulating MPCs by having Technics or similar deck there with the platter special thing on that then controls the MP3 as you're moving it around instead of having the fixed plate interface MIDI controller for the MP3 on the flight case pack thing that Reloop and Pioneer and everybody do. So, law and music. What are musicians though? While we are here, what are musicians? They are the interface between fixed reality and the higher spiritual consciousness. So there is something that needs to bridge the spiritual realm with fixed man. That would be the musician. The musician launches his to the brain and such, and the frequency and the modulation harmonizing with, allowing that to open up to, from you to you to you to that. It's said that the song and the spirit and the chanting and the om, where did we get the om from now? Where is the om hidden? Let me think where the om is hidden. The geometry, it wasn't geometry. The the om is hidden in somewhere else as well, in words that like the phonetics and the etymology, creation and sound vibration, opening God's door in the mountains of such things like Iraq that have been blown up because of the wars that we mentioned about earlier. You sat in front of that and you said something like autonomy, autonomy, and it's got the same atom, 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 Adam, atom, Adama. And in the beginning there was the logos, the sound, the word. So musicians, frequency modulation, Joseph Goebbels, 1940 something, manipulating the British Board of Music classification, modulation from Hertzian frequencies up some octaves, up some Hertz frequencies. So it's then messed us up. So we look at the solfeggio scale and the do, re, mi, so, fa, la, ti, do, and the octaves of before and now, and also the love frequency and kymatics to see when you make the pitch modulation on an oscillator, when you're going through the tones, which is the sine wave digital format of acoustics and phonics. What? You go through those steps and you can actually, you have the speaker with a cone on and some board over it, pour sand on with a edge around it, and a bit like your spirograph and you did the thing in the sound will make a structure in the sand, and you get different structure effects for different frequencies. And also to that, if you search YouTube water speaker sound experiment, there is a waterfall with the water just coming down, and behind the waterfall there is a big speaker. like a big bass woofer or something, and they've got an oscillator modulator somewhere, and water is falling. Turn on the oscillator modulator, and it puts a tone out the speaker, and as they go through the frequency of the tone and it goes up in a high pitch, the water starts going into squares and stepping out. It starts going downwards and slowing. It doesn't slow, the water's continuously going, but the the molecularization and the manipulation of the atomic and subatomic structure of the particles of water, which contain an electron nucleus and all of this stuff within them, is being affected by the exact resonant frequency being emitted by that sonic speaker. And you'll see the experiment where the water continues to fall, but it looks like it stops, freezes, goes back up. 15% battery, right, that's interesting as well. So I do love my sounds and frequencies, and why man likes music, and why music, think of an advert, they put music on it to make you remember it and feel good when you see the brand. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I've seen it's the next stage where we're going, understanding frequency. Yeah, tone, Tesla, frequency. What does Tesla say? What does he say about it? Technics. I want to see some Technics get run over by a Ford Transit van without the lid on, and the DJ still, it didn't go over the tone arm bit obviously, but it went on the start stop button, and across that side he put his being drunk DJing, just random things comes out. It's a deck, you know, they were like quite heavy when you were drunk, and at the end of the night they were about 4.5 kilo, aren't they, to be fair. Platter everything, put it down, turn around, walk back in. I come out, another van, started walking down. Lad always got in van, just wanted to move it a bit. Got over, you know, like, what? I'm like, wait a minute, I'll move that Technics deck. Go on and carry on. Come on, lads. Played it next time, worked fine. Start stop button did have a tyre tread and a bit of stone in the tyre. It scratched the top of the platter, but when he sold him, he got a deck cover. The feet, it got new feet because they were just crap. Them feet weren't they? They soon collapsing, and if you played anywhere with bass, it just fed through the deck. So he'd got new feet for him. Job were a good one. That is going to end it. My nomad tribe.